Hey guys, Genkila here, and today we're going to be answering the age-old question of, basically it's not even age-old, but the question is, how much do you earn in Germany after you have finished your graduation, your master's degree? How much can you expect earning when you are a fresher right from university? And that is a legit question. That is a question that I have asked myself a million times, and depending on where you are in the world, this answer is very different. But I am stationed in Germany, and for that I basically have one of my very first pay slips after approximately a year of working in Germany, and I think it is a fair payslip because all of the people that I know are kind of in the same rate. Of course, it depends on what you do, but let's go through it a little bit and explain to you guys what you earn and what you pay in taxes and how much it will cost for you to live in Germany. So you can kind of see with how much you can save up given you live, for example, with a wage like this. Starting with the document itself, in case you don't know, in Germany we use this kind of format for every company. I have never seen any other company use anything different like this, and this is basically a summary of how much you earned, how long you've worked, and basically all the cost breakdowns of how much you'll end up as a net amount of money after you paid all your taxes. Let's go through this part together so we can kind of see how much you can earn in Germany and how much you can expect coming from university. And please keep in mind, once again, this is approximately a year after my very first job, and this is the only payslip I have, but it's still a very fresh time after university. I mean, you don't gain a lot of experience since then. I will also show some screenshots of this so you can kind of follow it, and this is all in German, so I'll translate all the necessary parts, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see how much you can actually come out with and put in your pocket at the end of the month. So in the very first part, we see these 4 lines, and in these 4 lines, it's basically a summary of how much you've worked and how much you've earned. So in the very first line, it's going to say Stundenlohn, which aka means how much did you work. And as you can see on the very first amount with Menge, aka amount, it will say I worked 167 hours and a half a day. And if you look at the factor, this is basically the amount of money that I will be getting paid, which is 13 euro and 13 cents. And in total, I would have earned for this amount of time 2,200 euro. Now on the second line, it goes into Überstunden, aka your over hours. And as you can see, I did again nearly 7.5 over hours, and this gets multiplied and basically added on top of the 2,200 euro. Now on top of my contract that I got back then, I actually got more than the minimum wage that they offered at this company. So the minimum wage was 13 euro and 13 cents, and depending on your degree, on the amount you worked and your experience, they kind of grade you a little bit higher. So on top of the 13 euro, I actually received another 10 euro per hour, which equals, again, times 167, which equals 1,670 euro on top of the 2,200 euro. And of course, on the last row, I was a bit of a naughty boy, so I did some under hours, so I didn't do 10 hours, but keep in mind, I did 7.5 over hours and I lost 133 euro. But then again, I kind of got compensated with the over hours I did, but this is the system how it worked in this particular company. So in total, I would earn around 3,762 euro before taxes, which I think is a great amount of money, especially coming from university, and I was very grateful for this sum, and it actually got me really far. However, how much do you actually keep after your taxes? Because I think that is something that is very important, especially coming from university. You kind of have to understand that earning before taxes is one thing, but after the taxes, you more or less lose a big amount of money as well. So then we have 2 more rows which we have to go through. Starting with your income tax, I had to pay 591 euro, which is a lot of money if you think about it. You don't even know where that money goes into. Doesn't even matter, everyone has to pay it. And of course, if you work with more income, the more you will pay. If you earn less, the amount will be smaller. So it will kind of equal out depending on what you earn. On the second line, we have a few insurances and some things such as pension that we have to pay. Let's go through them together. So starting with the health insurance, this is mandatory for everyone to have. Then you have your Renteversicherung, which is basically a insurance where in case you become workless in Germany after working 1 year in Germany, that you kind of get a monthly sum back so you can kind of stay stable for the time being while you look for a new job. I think it is a great system, but please keep in mind you have to work 1 year in Germany to receive this, and you're actually good to go from there. For this, I pay 350 euro on a monthly basis. Then I have a Arbeitsversicherung, aka your work insurance. I pay 45 euros a month just in case anything happens at work. And then you have your Pension, which is basically your pension, which you pay into every month as well, which is 66 euro, and which is good, aka you get your pension after you finished working and you are super old. And if you combine all of these numbers together, aka the 760 euro and on top of that the 591 euro, which is all in my category taxed, you basically come out with 2,410 euro, which I still think is a great amount of money. But let's go into living expenses, because even though I come out with a good amount of money, I think it is also great to know that you basically need to pay for your life. You have to pay for where you live. And I think this is something we have to look into as well. So for this, I basically created a quick Excel sheet so you can physically see on screen how much I pay for certain things back then, and I still have the cost. But we're gonna start off with, like I said, your income after tax, which is, let's say, 2,400 euro. So I lived in Frankfurt, which is theoretically not the most expensive place to live. However, it is kind of expensive still. So you would pay approximately 800 euro a month for a single apartment, which is very expensive, but you can't tender this. The prices of housing there is really expensive. If you do want to save money, live a bit outside of the city, but please keep in mind it takes a little bit of time to get back into the city, especially if your company where you work is going to be there as well. So in total, I paid 800 euro a month warm. This included electricity, water and gas, which is great. However, in Germany, if you do use too much electricity or water or gas, you do have to pay the extra amount of money. So keep a little eye on the meter once in a while to see how much you actually use. Then in Germany, you do have to pay for your own Wi-Fi. The chance that you find an apartment with Wi-Fi integrated is very slim. I barely see it, and only if you do see it, it's most likely a house which has already been set up for you to live in. But in case it's a complete empty house, you will not get Wi-Fi. In Germany, I paid around 40 euro a month, where you only get 100 Mbits per second, which is not the fastest, but it is good enough. Of course, you can go with smaller speeds, but it's really expensive nonetheless. Then of course you need all your food and drinks, which is the most important part of my life. Anyway, I love food, I love drinks, I love enjoying myself here. When I looked at my monthly spending here, I would spend approximately 250 euro, and this is also what I have budgeted for myself. Please keep in mind, this also includes my lunch at work time, even though there are companies, for example, now I work at a company where I basically get my lunch for free. And that basically saves me approximately 100 euro a month, but it's a great incentive from this company, so it is worth looking into that, for example. Lastly, I do have a phone bill, which I do need to use. I pay for 60 gigabytes a month, 25 euro, which is actually relatively cheap. You can get unlimited for 35 euro a month, and it might be interesting for anyone to consider actually an unlimited contract where you can basically use as much data as you want. So you have Wi-Fi at home and you don't have to pay for additional Wi-Fi at your house. It saves you 40 euro a month. If we deduct all these costs from my initial income, you can see that I end up with 1,320 euro on a monthly basis, which is still relatively a lot. I mean, I paid off most of my costs. However, there's another line of costs that I need to include, which is important. So for my university, I took a loan so I can study, and for this I basically pay around 350 euro a month, which is a very fair sum because I did study from it and I got something in return, but I do need to deduct it as well. And after that deduction, you can see that I have 980 euro left on my bank account. Now you might be asking, 980 euro on your bank account, what about clothing? What about in case something breaks? That is true. It's always important that you need to count in a little bit more money in case anything happens. For example, with my iPhone X, I dropped it accidentally and the touch didn't work anymore. And I had the choice to either repair the display or get a new phone. What is cheaper, of course, replacing the display. But it did lay me back another 290 euro, which is a lot of money, especially if you think you only have 980 euro left, aka you spend 1/4 of your money on repairing a silly little display. Or what about if a camera falls down or breaks or I need to upgrade? Well, for this, I basically put away every month 300 euro in case I need to upgrade anything, buy clothes, buy anything that breaks, because this is also very important that you need to calculate this in your cost. The cost before included nothing. It only included living, but it didn't include anything on the side, for example, a laptop, a camera, or any additional part of your life. And what about traveling? This is all included in my 300 euro a month, and I put it into a piggy bank, and hopefully I can travel with this money, which I think is a very great idea. And in case you don't do it, do the same. Put a certain percentage of your money in a bank account because it actually helps you with organizing how much you earn on a monthly basis. So as you can see, if we deduct everything from my wages, I still end up with 680 euro a month, which I can save away into a future investment maybe, but I think this is a great little start. And this is also how much you can expect of working in Germany. Again, it depends on what field you want to go into. For example, I'm more into marketing. If you do, for example, a doctorate degree, it's going to most likely be much higher than expected. If you do anything else, it can also be a little bit lower. But those are the things that you can expect. But I must say it is very manageable. And like I always like to say to anyone who asks me from an international background, how is it to live in Germany? I like to say you are very well covered. The German government really makes sure that everyone has a chance to live here and able to basically make money and survive effectively. So yeah guys, that was actually my very quick explanation on how much you can earn as a fresher coming from university. But I hope this is helpful, and if not, put it in the comments below if you have any more questions. I would love to see what you want to say. But now guys, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.